What up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. This is the 630 Club, where I try and have an even keel, steady approach to the markets, a little bit to life, to the realities of the situation. I try and put out there what we control. What can we control? We can control our actions. We can control how we approach the market, how we save for the future, how we trade, what kind of parents we are, what kind of humans. Anyway, with that being said, I know there's a lot of a lot of emotions after watching the debate last night. I'm not going to get into it. Um, if you look at the market and look at where some things are, you'll see what the consensus thinks. Um, and we'll move forward. What do we have today? We have the CPI today. You have the PPI later this week. We have an inside range that's trying to hold. We're trying to figure out, was Friday's low the low of the next few weeks? Do we continue to go sideways? Where are the flows? And we'll try and do it as responsibly as possible. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. We got Myers in the house. We got Westfield in the house. Well, good morning, Blair. Good morning, Rolando. I like seeing my crew without have not crazy. I had to block like 25 people last night. What up, Thab? What up, Allison? What up, Space Specialist? Good morning. We got Hayden in the house. All right, so let's talk facts. What are the facts? Let's go to the tape right here, right? So this is the spies, right? We had our V bottom. We had our 8-9 day consolidation. We've had a pull in of about a little less than 50% of what this move was. You've had 2 days of inside action, and the question is, how are we going to respond to the CPI today? Will the CPI be down enough? If it's down enough, will we get a little bit of a move in the small caps and bios or not? Well, we'll see. But as of right now, the spies aren't down too much. I figured after watching the debate last night, there'd be a little disappointment. So, just in the overall, two candidates we have in front of us, and down $1.40 is not a big deal whatsoever. We're at 547, which is right around here. So chances are, depending on the CPI, we could probably go red to green. People asking me what I think. I'm not going to say what I think, but obviously this is Wall Street thinks. This is DJT. And or the world. We'll see what happens there. Most people don't have positions there. The stock's been battered and bruised. Yeah, it's not worth talking about. So the question is, where will the fund, the flow of funds go today? Here are the Qs. Qs also have some inside action. You have a low, higher, low, higher, low. Can tech continue to get a tiny bit better because it's been lagging? We'll see today. This is a little pivot spot, so it has some room if it wants it. The semis are trying to get a little bit better. Nothing so great. The tech and the semis are the ones that have been, lagging and kind of leading lower. So we'll see if that changes. Finally, the SMH is closed above a prior high. It hasn't done that in a while. It was kind of led by yesterday. Yesterday, a lot of people made really good money in AVGO. This is what we can control. We can control patterns, right? We can control not patterns, but how we approach them. And you had AVGO, right? AVGO was a source of pressure on Friday. And then what happened? There's a tactic that I love. It's called the red dog reversal. That's when, you measure the rubber match spot. You see, what needs to happen for a certain type of trade. And, from 172 down, what do we know post earnings? You knew that 136.60 was the low. In order to break below the 200-day, you had to get below and stay below. Instead, it reclaimed it. Okay, so that was a good entry for people looking there. And then you had this gap, got above the post earnings gap pivot. There are two different ways to play. When you're above it, you see if you hold it, and this way, you see if it's priced in. So yesterday or 2 days ago, you could have been a buyer. And then yesterday, you could have added into the gap, and then it closed. That's just to set up and trade, a 2-day trade. Those 2-day type trades that don't happen often, could really make you money over the course of, weeks and months and careers. It happens either which way. This one happened to the downside. Remember, it came up, came back below, and then started a new downtrend. But anyway, so that helped. Question now is, will Nvidia, get a little bit better? Okay, Nvidia, is one of the emotional leaders of this move, meaning, where Nvidia goes, usually the market's watching and moves with it in the morning. As of right now, Nvidia is only down 47 cents, not the end of the world. So we'll see what happens here. Does this continue to try and get a little bit better? Does it, take back some levels? I know Jensen is speaking today. So with that being said, can you get some more upside? Is this a low and then a higher low, or is this just like a bearish flag that's going to turn down? That's going to give us some clues to the next few days. I'm in, Nvidia, and we'll see how it goes. I'll add to it and see, if it can go from red to green. Some people like, hey, Red Dog, what about Apple? I am long a little Apple also. They usually try and sell the Apple event. The Apple event was not anything spectacular. They couldn't sell it. Then it just got fined 14 billion from the EU. Couldn't really go down. So there is a chance that that Apple, that's been showing some relative strength, might be able to get up, go a little bit if you're long versus 217. So it's just a thought and a setup. Their blackout period doesn't start for another week or two, meaning they can't do their buybacks. They could still do it. And there's actually some talk that on September 20th, which is the rebalance, there's actually a buy imbalance versus sell. There's usually a sell imbalance because Buffett has sold a lot of his shares. There's more outstanding. So the funds that need to have a certain percentage of Apple based on, requirements might need more. So anyway, it's something to think about. Then someone's like, Red Dog, what do you think? Who do you think is the best Mag 7 name now? Okay. What I kind of think is, Amazon right here. Listen, Amazon's been a pain in the butt. We've made some good money this year, but we've also lost some good money. Right here, we made a lot of money when it broke above this 189, 191. And then I lost a lot of money thinking it was going to go above 201. So there's ways to do it. And then there was a nice trade here. Remember this gap fill? This was one of my better trades, actually, in August, and then came back and retested. So now, if you look at Amazon, it's got a nice little tight inside wedge. You have 175.85 to trade against. It's trying to poke its head up. It's only down like 8 cents today. Goldman had a nice article about the AWS, and not to be political, but Trump doesn't get along with Bezos in the Washington Post, and if Trump doesn't win, and what's it called, Kamala Harris wins, then perhaps there's a little less banter against Amazon. So maybe Amazon, same way Musk is supporting Trump, and knee-jerk reaction, Tesla's down only 2 points, it's not a big deal. This might be something better, and it's better technically. Like, look, it's above all these moving averages. I know it's been very friggin' choppy in here, but it's something that I'm going to try and watch and stay with, just because it might, it just might be something that acts better than other things. I'm just pointing it out. Crypto is down a little bit because, the knee-jerk reaction was that, that Trump is pro-crypto and is not going to sell it, etc. So we'll see what that is. We'll see what happens there. What's IBIT doing? Somebody just asked me. Let's see. IBIT is, it's down 80 cents, down 2.5%. Let's go to the chart. This is the ETF for crypto. So I'm personally not in IBIT right now. It's been really tough, but this low here is 32.15. Where is it now? It's right there. So see if this area holds. So if you went long, crypto, thinking that crypto is going to have a knee-jerk reaction move up because if the debate went, Trump's way, and right now it's down. So, right now Wall Street is saying who, they think won the debate. And listen, anyone who watched it, to me, knows who, what it looked like last night. And it looked like a sugar honey iced tea show both ways. But it is what it is. We get the elected officials that we deserve. These are our two candidates, and we'll figure it out moving forward without trying to get too emotional. Because when you get emotional doesn't work for anybody. Yes, it is. Gold looks pretty good. What's my take on gold? Gold has been consolidating. The GLD has been holding, closed above the 821 day. We'll see what's the GLD going to do today. It's up 38 cents. Is there enough power for gold to get through 234? Maybe. It's acting very well. This is when it got better actively again. It went up to 234. It's been a little choppy, but overall, gold is consolidating where it looks like this 234, could be taken out. So I think gold looks constructive. And I think Bitcoin over time, if you're an asset allocator, is something you do monthly. But for now, it's just not something that's working if you're trying to play for momentum. Silver's okay. Yesterday, the financials got a big shot across the bow. Someone just said, like JP Morgan, like, look at this move. JP Morgan was one of the leading banks. It's one of the best banks out there, et cetera, et cetera. And then they talked about how their trading is down, their NII is down. And yesterday, it failed to hold 218. And if you had, trigger stops because you were long it, you had to get out of 214, and then it broke 211. JP Morgan's going to need time. This whole sector now is kind of broken. So I would just let it go. JP Morgan, which is going to not be great for the S&P, so money's probably going to rotate. Goldman Sachs, the same thing. Goldman Sachs, they said their trading was down 10% in the past either month or quarter. I don't know exactly what they said, but the bottom line is you had an inside range. This was your first move lower, couldn't take back half, and then here was your continuation. So if anything, banks were special, they're not special anymore. They're going to need time. So the question is, where do we turn? Tesla's a better setup, you think so? So Rick Friedman, who's my buddy, I love Rick. So Rick right here. Let's go to Rick. Rick says Tesla is a better setup. You know what? Tesla made me really good money the last 2 days, to be honest. So it'll be interesting. This is what, by the way, if you're on YouTube, you could see what everyone's talking about. This is, it's not a kaleidoscope. It's just when I put it in here, that's what it does. So yeah, I'll look at Tesla. I'm not long Tesla. I figured it would be emotional today based on the debate. But yeah, this 2 day Tesla's really hard. You look at this chart too. It's like, wow, it's like every day has been kind of a trap. So we'll see what happens today. 226.40. Can Tesla go from red to green today and take out 226.40? This week Tesla was really good to me, because I didn't go out short. A lot of people went out short Tesla because Friday was a disaster, and then it was a little bit of a gap up. They held it there. So if you rolled up your short, you probably got squeezed a little bit yesterday. And now Tesla's down $2. Not so crazy. It's not down 5. It's not down 8. So Tesla could be an opportunity that goes from red to green. So if you're not in Tesla, maybe there's good cash flow here. So it's something I will watch. If I see relative strength, what's that mean? It means the Spicer say open down $1.50, pull in more, Tesla doesn't go down, then buyers come in and takes the red to green, and maybe get a little push above yesterday's high. But again, this is, we're trying, remember on TV, they're going to talk about what's the Trump stocks, what's the, Kamala stocks. This, Tesla's kind of in the Trump stock camp. So anyway, Racuna says, I got emotional about the cats and the dogs. Yeah, I don't like anyone eating cats and dogs either. Stay away from my Cadence. Cadence is my best friend. Listen, I'm for strong police. I'm for strong borders. I'm for capitalism, free enterprise. I don't want, this war in the Ukraine with Russia, almost 1 million, about 900,000 18 to 30-year-olds have been killed on both sides for really no reason. Israel, friggin' October 7th is friggin' nuts. They brought it on. Listen, do I like how many other individuals have been killed in Gaza? But if you look at the stats, about how calculated they're running this war to get rid of the terrorists, there are ways to speak about these things that make a little bit more sense. That's not political and not whatever. But, I'm not here for that. I'm not that smart. I'm here to, show you how you can make a living trading, how you can make additional cash flow with your job, how you could have a routine and a process where you're not banging your head against the wall. Because sometimes if you have the TV on too long, you're going to be banging your head against the wall, and that doesn't get anyone anywhere. Lily, let's see, somebody, Lily looks like, a bear flag. Most of my guys got stopped out of Lily right here at 934 when it lost the 8-day. It looked as if it was going lower. So as an investor, you could probably be in Lily, but as an active trader, it lost a little bit of its special status up here. What's Lily doing this morning? Lily it's up 2. Okay, so it's kind of still hanging around in this. NVO, what's that doing? It's having a nice day, up 2%. I think VKTX was also upgraded. So here's that little basket. This is like your basket of, hey, I don't want to exercise and do too much fitness. I want to take a pill and lose weight. Anyway, There are people that do that. I'm not against it. I'm just saying I'd rather you go into a sauna, do some weights, sweat a little bit, go in a nice barrel, get on a Peloton versus take a pill. But everyone does what they want to do. IBM looks pretty good, to be honest. IBM holding up here, breaking out. That's that doesn't care about last night's debate. It's running right above here. Oracle now, wow, what a move, huh? I guess you'll see now, does Oracle hold this gap 153.13, hit as high as 160.52? I wouldn't be in a rush here. This kind of looks like something where it's going to be hard to sustain this level. It might, I wouldn't. This gap up and went sideways for a while before filling the gap, and now it's even more elevated, and the market's a little temperamental. So I would just be careful. If you're in this one, use that gap pivot. They are strong charts. All solar stocks are up huge today. Yeah, that's part of the knee-jerk reaction. So which ones do you like? Because if you look at these solar stocks, they don't look so good. FSLR, okay, did a little red dog reversal into the 200-day. What's that doing? Okay, FSLR it's up 5%, up 10 points. Okay, so 219. So I guess see how much of today's gap up holds, right? This is the middle area of it. This is, it's probably got room till here. This is one stock that if you took some home and you're like, Kamala's gonna, optically look better and have some more methodical answers than here. So I would say don't be jumping into the clean energy names just because, but you'll have some gaps to trade against. Government handouts. No, we love those things. I work. I'm up at 4:45 every day. And, as far as college, I used to MC bar mitzvahs. I used to come home. I was president of my fraternity at Albany, and I had a great time in Albany, but I gave up 2 weekends a month to come home and work, to have money to pay off my student loans. I didn't want I didn't go to Syracuse, which costs triple. I went to SUNY Albany because I grew up on Long Island, because that's what I could afford. But that's my mentality. It's not everyone's mentality. It's a bunch of yours also. Anyway, I said I wouldn't stop it. Red dog, stop. What else? What else are we looking at today? So I'm kind of thinking Amazon, hopefully could go from red to green and get a little bit of push. I'm kind of thinking that maybe the SPYs, if it holds this little 2-day low area, can go green and this pocket pivot stays intact. I did buy a little XBI calls, thinking that this is tight, that if we do get, some kind of weaker, CPI, that maybe you get a pounce here. The IWMs reacted better last CPI, but now with the banks a little broken from yesterday, the XBI might be something that's better. Rick says, my wife paid off my wife's student loans 2 to 3 years after college, no free tuition back then. Yeah. Listen, it's also a way to develop inner strength. If you could take care of your own bills, take care of your own self, take care of your own family, it's a way to, it's a way you feel good about yourself. So, feel good about yourself, build self-esteem, do hard things. And if someone else needs help, that's fine, but anyway, Red Dog, call me the babbler today. I say, you watch things like last night, you get a little distraught, just about everything. But this is the environment we live in, so we control what we can control. The XBI looks pretty good. We'll see what happens there. IWM looks fair also, but a little bit more beat up. It might be a little bit harder to, if the CPI is light, to go, because some of the banks are truly, pretty broken now after yesterday's move. And there's some, some banks in the small caps. So we'll see. Palantir, I got out yesterday. This has been awesome. I took a lot of PLTR options into Friday because the word was 2 companies were coming in. It could be Palantir. I guessed right. Some people are like, hey, you're so lucky, Red Dog. I'm like, it was a high percentage play, and I did options because if it didn't get in, it would be down $2. So that worked. And now I see if it holds this area. Might need a little bit of time. There's some information out there that Thiel could sell a chunk of his stock. So I figured, hey, let me take this trade. And then there's this ASTS. So this stock, has big aspirations. There's a lot of money behind it. Someone's like, Red Dog, what do you think here? stock was, down here below 10, and then it went to 39, and then they had that upgrade, and then they didn't have the money offering because they needed some money or a shelf, which happens with these high growth companies. I'm going to watch it closer moving forward. There are some big funds, friends of mine that have billion-dollar funds that are like, hey, you should start watching this and trade it technically. Don't have a bias, but just know there's some big money behind it. So, the story is that, for the next 3, 6, 9 quarters, this thing could be, a lot higher. So I'm going to try not to think about the money behind it, just look at the chart, but chances are, I did sell some puts around here, and if it starts acting better, I'm going to start getting long it and see if it's something that, could work its way higher, and trend and become a special name. As of right now, it's just a concept type name. So someone asked me about that. And that's it, guys. 6:52. We'll see what today brings. Spies aren't down a whole. This is that quote. Spies aren't down a whole hell of a lot. It's only down $1.12 now. Qs are down $1. Small caps are down a little bit. More. Not so. Taking it in stride. Listen. I got some macro notes about what they think about the debate and about the future and this and that, and so just don't get overly emotional. Emotion does not help you. Okay, it's a even keel. Don't let your highs get too high, your lows get too low. Just make sure to have a process that's sustainable over time, no matter who's in Washington, because Washington doesn't do anything for any of us. But anyway, with that said, have a good day today, guys.